Hello and welcome. My name is Gene, and today we're going to move ourselves through a bit of shoulder focus and chest movement. The chest is primarily due to the fact that the shoulders are being honed in on, so it might be worth just checking in on the space as a whole. But for now, take your time finding your way to a seat somewhere on your mat. However the seat forms, taking just a couple moments here to anchor into the space. Breathing in through your nose. And then breathing out through the nose, taking a sigh or a yawn through the mouth, just so that you start to feel the shoulders reach down the back. Another inhale, spine lifts up just a little bit higher. And then exhale, shoulders softening down the spine once more, just creating that open heart feeling. One more breath here. And then starting to build off a little with that. Take an inhale, shoulders are going to shrug nice and tight against the ears. And then exhale, releasing them down the back, nice and slow. Giving your neck a moment just to breathe. Inhale, shoulders crinkle back up once more. And then exhale, release down the back. 3 more times, inhale. And exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Last one. Nice. And then just shoulder circling in a couple directions, forward, in and out. Maybe about 5 circles depending on where your breath is currently. And then reversing. Allowing you to create that tempo, that directional choice. Just so that you can hone in on what's feeling good for you here. Nice. So then breathing in, arms are going to reach up. You're going to bend the right elbow with the hand against the back. Left hand goes on top of the right elbow. And then just pushing, I should say, that right elbow down as you breathe out. You're reaching back with that left elbow so that you create an open feeling in your chest. We'll just take another 3 breaths here. Nice. Breathing in, release. Arms come back to your sides. And then just shaking the shoulders out as you exhale. Shaking, of course, whatever movement you're content with. So that on an inhale, arms reach up again. This time left elbow bent, hand against the back. Right hand on your left elbow. And then exhale, pushing down for 5. And 4. And 3 more. And all the while just noticing what the chest is starting to communicate with you. Especially with that right elbow bending back softly. Chest is open. One more breath here. And then inhale, releasing your arms to the sides. Another exhale, shimmy and shake your shoulders just a little bit. Oh, gathering up all of that stiffness. You can likely tell my shoulders personally are where I hold a bit of my tension, so it might bring out some things, make you feel some things, but with that moment past, settling back in a seat, now that you've engaged with your shoulders a little bit, this is a nice place to create a focus for your practice. Shoulder work tends to connect you to elements of mobility, range, and where your body might find itself in a given moment. To that end, any intention on development, growth, recognition, and even celebration of your body's current present state can all serve as valid intentions for your practice today. Worth noting, anything mobility-based could also hone you in on a sense of mortality, on the passing of time, the transient state of things, knowing that nothing stays the same forever. But for now, just taking another 4 more breaths. Good work. So, nice moment to again just shake the body out a little bit now that you've taken some conscious time to implant an intention within yourself. Also worth drinking some water at any point that you need, so that when you've taken that centralizing opportunity, we're just breathing in, shifting back so that the legs can extend in front of you, staff pose, Dandasana. From here, you're gonna take your blanket and then give yourself a little space under the sit bones so that you can slide the blanket underneath, basically sitting on your blanket in some degree. Legs are long, little bit of elevation here as we take just a caterpillar pose to start, or Paschimottanasana, that intense Western stretch, if you want a little more heat. So, breathing in, hands are gonna start to the sides of your legs. And then breathing out, you're gonna walk the fingers about halfway between your knees and your ankles. Somewhere in that general range, could be more or less depending on how you're feeling. But taking a breath in here, and then breathing out, elbows are bending as your shoulders are what are pulling you forward gently into this form of a fold. So you're thinking less about how far forward you can go and more about the widening of your shoulder blades, your scapulae, to really feel almost like you're spreading some wings behind you. Breathe. So taking some time, total of 5 breaths here, you're about 2 in now. Maybe more or less. Now, you are welcome to remain just as you are if this feels good for your back. If you feel like you can reach a little further, take that inhale here. And then thinking about keeping that widening in your back. Exhale, fingers walk a little more forward, more towards your ankles, elbows bending when you've arrived at that personal precipice. So it's all about the shoulder blades being nice and expanded behind you. Almost as far apart as the body will allow them to go, taking another 5 breaths here. Beyond that, It's a fold. Back of the skull is relaxed so that your forehead moves toward the knees. Crown of the head reaching down to the ground. Soft breath accompanying soft music for another 2 more cycles. Great work. Breathing in wherever your hands have wound up. Walk them gently back to your center. And then exhale, just shaking the chest out a little bit. Couple of back and forward motions with your arms. I almost think of it as like a clucking motion, for lack of a better word. Like you would think about a chicken clucking the wings, similar sensation with your shoulders and chest going back and forth a couple times. So, when that movement has felt good, you're just going to take a breath in, bend the knees with the feet coming to your mat, and then choosing a side, left or right, exhale so that the legs swing behind you, hands on the ground in a tabletop shape. Blanket can slide forward a little bit, now serving as something for your knees. And then you're going to have the blocks toward the top of your mat, if that feels good too. For now though, palms are planted, shoulders on top of wrists as you breathe in, and then hips on top of knees as you breathe out. Spinal flossing here. Inhale, abdomen peels to the ground while the tailbone and crown rise up. And then exhale, softening in your ribs just to get a good little curve in your spine. Inhale again, abdomen reaches down, front body expanded. And from that expansion point, exhale, hollow the heart, soften the chin so that the ribs and spine give a hug. Take another 4 to 5 more of these cat-cows at your pace. And really moving through each vertebrae of your spine, using your shoulders and arms as an assistant in that motion range. How does it feel to have that support? That bolstered reinforcement in your body? Nice. Last one, wherever you're at. Good. And then just doing a little bit of shoulder drill work. You're going to take an inhale. Left hand is staying on the ground. While on the exhale, you're reaching your right arm to the right side, just pointing your fingers to the right side of your space. Now pressing into both your hands, you're going to breathe in, gently dropping your right shoulder down toward the mat like you're trying to lengthen your arm. And then exhale, press into that right palm just to center the body back in neutral. Inhale, right arm reaches up to the sky. And then exhale, just threading the needle, but instead of planting that right arm, you're going to send it through and hover it just a couple inches above. Inhale, slide the arm out to the right side, palm on the ground. And then exhale, dropping that right shoulder down to the earth. Doesn't have to go all the way, of course. Inhale, press into that left hand, right arm reaches up. And exhale, thread the needle, just hovering the arm over the ground once more. Good. Going nice and slow, breathe in, right arm to the side, plant the palm. And then exhale, drawing your right shoulder down gradually to the ground. Inhale, arm comes up, meeting the sky again. And exhale, another hover, threading the needle, right arm under left. This time, breathing in, right arm comes out to the side, palm down. And then another exhale, bring the shoulder to meet the mat, or at least some proximity. Inhale, right arm comes up again. And then exhale one more time, threading the needle, hovering that right arm just barely above the ground. Great job. Inhale, unthread the right arm, planting it on the ground. And then exhale, just walking your hands back to your knees, sitting on your ankles. Shake that right shoulder out a little bit, even the right wrist a couple times. So about that arm rotation, that shoulder rotation, just feeling where it wants to go, being very nice and tender with it. Rotator cuffs are certainly a place that we want to hone in on with specificity and intention, because it can certainly be a place where you can hyperextend if you find yourself reaching a little too far. So, we did that drill a total of 3 times. We're going to do the same set of movements now, just from the left arm's perspective. So starting back in a tabletop, palms plant down on the ground, taking that breath in. And then exhale, sighing out through the mouth. Good work. Inhale, sliding that left arm out to the left side now. Fingertips point to the left. And right arm is your base. Exhale, press into that right palm, drawing the left shoulder down toward your mat. Good. Inhale, press into the right hand, left arm's reaching up. And exhale, thread the needle, sliding the left arm over the right, but just barely hovering it over the ground. Good. Inhale, left arm slides out to the left side, palm on the ground. And then exhale, drawing that left shoulder earthbound or hovering it just barely. Inhale, reach up with the left arm again. And exhale, thread the needle again. Hover that arm, second of 3 iterations. Inhale, left arm to the side. And exhale, draw that shoulder down. Big breath out. Arm comes up, big breath in. And left arm threads, last one, hovering it over the ground as you exhale. We'll do one more just for added reinforcement. So inhale, plant the hand, fingers to the left. And then exhale, elbow pressed to the side, shoulder reaches down. Nice. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale, one last threading for real this time. Reaching that left arm out, hovering it over the ground. And then inhale, left hand plants back in tabletop. And exhale, walk the hands back. Sitting on the ankles, shake that left shoulder out, shake the left wrist out. So that series of movements is just a shoulder-focused drill that you can do for yourself if you'd like to get some more space recognized in your shoulders, which will also stimulate your chest and your heart center as parts of those movements are realized. So how are your shoulders feeling? How is your chest feeling? Take that moment and breathe. So these movements that we've been doing with the shoulders have been to build up the body for a more pronounced form of your melting heart pose, or your puppy pose as it may also be referred. So, body slides out to a tabletop. Blocks are in front of you. You can have them just along the sides, giving yourself some space. And when you feel your knees under the hips, take a breath in here. On the exhale, walk the hands to the top of your mat, chest peeling down, keeping your hips just above the knees. Melting heart, puppy pose. Now, this is where you can incorporate a few variations in your practice. Elbows can be placed on top of your blocks, and then bending into the elbows themselves, hands will gather just above the head. Taking about 2 minutes here just so that you can work into your triceps and shoulders a bit. Also recognizing that if something doesn't feel good for your body, you don't have to stay in that particular shape, as always. Maybe you'd prefer not having the blocks and just having your elbows on the mat. That is just as feasible. You are doing great. Halfway point of your time. And all the while just remembering to keep the hips nice and level so that you get that front body expansion, just like from your cat-cows earlier. Almost really focusing that expanding feeling on your abdomen, just below the ribs. As you'll take just another 4 breaths here. Great work. If you have your elbows bent with the hands over the head, very gently bring them down to meet the ground. And then breathing in, very, very gently walk the hands into center, back to tabletop. With your chest peeled off the ground, exhale, walk the hands in, sitting on another thunderbolt pose. Nice place just to check in on your shoulders, on your chest, on your arms. How are those places feeling? Now these movements that you've taken yourself through today can help you build to a few other different postures. Today we honed in on your melting heart with that added shoulder emphasis. But postures like your half camel, you can reach back with your hands, interlace the fingers, and using your shoulders to engage this movement. You're rolling the arms back gently, opening your throat to the ceiling. And very similar if you have camel pose, or if camel pose is something you're working toward. It's that same rolling gently back of the shoulders as the crown of the head leads you further. We'll just take another 5 more breaths so that you can sensate what this half camel movement is like in the body. How do the arms feel after their extra bit of emphasis today? Nice work. If you have the arms released or locked, release them now. And then sliding forward to a tabletop shape, palms of the hands under the shoulders. Good time to tap the feet on your mat to give your ankles some relief. So that from here you can choose a side, left or right, to sit back on. Legs will swing through center. And then finding your way down to your mat. I have a blanket that I will bring with me that you are welcome to do for yourself, should a blanket be nearby, because it's just rolling up your blanket about halfway. It's a place that I like to go to frequently in my own Savasana, and one that I offer frequently as a variation. But when you have that rolled up part of your blanket secure, you're just rolling the body down. Your shoulder blades are what's being supported by the rolled up part of your blanket as you take a supported fish pose with the chest. Now your legs can position themselves in whatever way feels good for you. As we're just gonna take some time and relax the shoulders, open the heart really tenderly. A moment worth connecting to your breath and heartbeat, remembering them. A moment worth releasing any tension that you want to set free, at least for a few moments. And finally, coming back to your personal intention today as we start this winding down. A practice exploring the range of motion in your arms as the shoulders are that honed in space of focus. How are they feeling? How are you feeling? Asking these questions as your body softens for a few moments. The noises of the world around you gives way to this brief rest and meditative respite. So enjoy your Savasana, and as always, thank you for all that you do on and off of your mat. I'll call you back to the here and now shortly. starting to bring some awareness back to your body. As you breathe in deeply through your nose, coax the air to your shoulders, the collar, and soften in those places just so that your back feels the ground a little more. And then exhale through the nose, take a sigh or yawn through the mouth. That air of maintaining on the shoulders is released so that they recenter themselves in line with the rest of your collar space. And as you become more aware of your physical self, invite the fingertips and toes to wiggle softly. The wrists and ankles to circle gingerly. The neck to tip side to side once or twice. But as always, it's your practice, your body, and your space. So make it your choice how you wish to move, and bring yourself back to your mat, honoring and strengthening your tether to this corporeal plane. And with the soft music around, amplifying the sound of your breath in your space over any other noise, use your breath to decide if you want to end your practice exactly as you are, or from your conjured savasana, you have a choice to meet me in a seat of your choosing, taking your time to move your body in any safe and tender ways to arrive in a shape that seals your journey today. Arms, legs, and eyes signifying in their own resonating way a shape that seals your journey. Because it all comes back to your focus, your intention, what it was that brought you to your mat for this yin practice today. A little bit mobility-centric, particularly shoulder-focused, which again can connect you to elements of the things you carry, what you hold on to, as well as being present to how your body moves through space. In truth, every yoga practice is a reinforcement of your proprioception, how you relate to that space around you. But inviting that sense of love and tenderness to yourself. If something feels like it's too heavy to carry, it's all right to put it down. And if something feels like it's just out of reach, you can always decide if it's just not something you're meant to reach for right now, or if you want to build the body and grow the body enough to reach that place some other day. And with that, it has been my humble, happy honor to have shared this space with you today as you've shared it with me. May you always live your life in your authentic way, bringing your shine and signature radiance to this beautiful planet we share. The luminosity in me cherishes, respects, and will always celebrate the luminous blooming heart in you. Shanti. Namaste. And to that I say that it has been my humble, happy honor to have shared this space with you. Thank you for taking a part of your day to spend it with myself, my humble self. Whatever time of day this practice has found you, I hope that you feel a little bit more loose and relaxed in the shoulders and the collar, and part ways in the chest as well. So, until we meet each other on our mats again Sunday, may this life be kind to you. May you savor the fruits of your endeavors. Namaste.